The 1980s were a golden age of automotive innovation, where speed, style, and ambition defined an entire generation of supercars. It was a time when engineers and dreamers pushed beyond limits, crafting machines that symbolized power, wealth, and art in motion. While everyday cars focused on comfort and practicality, a select few exotics stood apart. Hand-built, aerodynamic marvels born from racing technology and produced in astonishingly low numbers. Their rarity and craftsmanship made them legends of their time. In this documentary, we revisit the 10 rarest supercars of the 1980s, each representing the fearless spirit of an era that redefined what it meant to drive. Isdera Imperator 108i, 1984-1993, our journey begins in West Germany, with one of the most mysterious and exclusive supercars ever built, the Isdera Imperator 108i. Born from the imagination of engineer Eberhard Schultz, who previously worked for Porsche and later designed for B&B, the Imperator was a dream brought to life by a single man. Schultz's obsession with creating the perfect driver's car led to the formation of Isdera, a small but highly specialized company known for building cars entirely by hand. The Imperator 108i first appeared as a prototype in 1978 under the name CW311. It caught international attention when Mercedes-Benz allowed Schultz to use their three-pointed star on the car, a rare gesture that hinted at its engineering credibility. When production finally began in 1984, the Imperator retained its futuristic wedge design, gull-wing doors, and a mid-mounted Mercedes-Benz V8 engine. Power output varied from 5.0 to 5.6 liters, producing up to 390 horsepower, depending on the customer's specification. What made the Isdera so rare wasn't just its performance, but its exclusivity. Only 30 units were ever built, each one meticulously handcrafted to order. Every car was tested personally by Schultz before delivery. Inside, it offered a minimalist cockpit focused purely on the driving experience, with analog instruments and an unusually direct steering feel. The Imperator 108i embodied the true spirit of the 1980s, bold, innovative, and defiant of mass production. Even today, it stands as a reminder of an era when individuals, not corporations, could still craft a supercar from scratch and compete with the industry's best. Aston Martin V8 Vantage Zagato, 1986 to 1989. From Germany, we travel to the United Kingdom, where Aston Martin teamed up with Italian coach builder Zagato to produce one of the most distinctive and limited supercars of the decade. The Aston Martin V8 Vantage Zagato. Introduced at the 1986 Geneva Motor Show, the car represented a fusion of British engineering and Italian design flair. The base car, the Aston Martin V8 Vantage, was already among the most powerful grand tourers of its time. But the Zagato version pushed boundaries even further. Zagato redesigned the entire body using lightweight aluminum panels, resulting in a shorter, more aerodynamic, and aggressive stance. The trademark double-bubble roof and angular lines gave the car an unmistakable presence. Under the hood lay a 5.3-liter V8 engine, tuned to deliver 430 horsepower, allowing the car to reach 60 miles per hour in just 4.8 seconds. An impressive figure for its day. Production was kept extremely limited. Only 52 coupes and 37 convertibles were ever built. Each one was handcrafted, reflecting the bespoke nature of both Aston Martin and Zagato's traditions. The car's performance and rarity made it an instant collector's item. Despite some controversy over its radical styling, the Vantage Zagato has aged gracefully, now regarded as one of the last true analog masterpieces of the pre-digital age. In the context of the 1980s supercar world, it stood apart for its craftsmanship and exclusivity rather than sheer speed. It was a car for connoisseurs, those who valued artistry and heritage as much as horsepower. Ferrari 2DT GTO 1984-1987. No list of rare 1980s supercars would be complete without mentioning Ferrari's legendary 288 GTO, a car that redefined the concept of road-legal performance. Conceived under the direction of Enzo Ferrari himself, the 288 GTO was designed to homologate Ferrari's entry into Group B racing, a class known for its extreme performance regulations. At first glance, the 288 GTO resembled the 308 GTB, but under its skin, it was an entirely different machine. The chassis was strengthened, the wheelbase lengthened, and lightweight composite materials were used extensively. Its heart was a 2.80-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine, producing 400 horsepower, capable of propelling the car to over 189 miles per hour, making it the fastest production car in the world at the time. What truly made the 288 GTO special was its dual personality. It combined raw racing potential with a surprising level of drivability on public roads. Every detail reflected Ferrari's obsession with performance and precision. Yet, despite its technological achievements, only 272 units were produced before Group B racing was cancelled. This abrupt end to its intended competition career elevated the 288 GTO to mythical status. Collectors immediately recognized its importance, viewing it as the missing link between classic analog Ferraris and the modern hypercar era that would begin with the F40. Today, it stands as one of the most desirable Ferraris ever built, a car that perfectly captures the ambition and daring spirit of the 1980s. Porsche 959, 1986-1989. Among the icons of 1980s automotive engineering, few names resonate as strongly as the Porsche 959. Often described as the world's first supercar of the future, the 959 represented a turning point in Porsche's history, as well as in the broader evolution of high-performance vehicles. It was not merely fast. It was a rolling laboratory of cutting-edge technology. Developed originally for Group B rally competition, the 959 was designed to combine immense power with unmatched stability and control. Beneath its aerodynamic bodywork, crafted from a blend of aluminum and Kevlar, lay a 2.85-liter twin-turbocharged flat-six engine derived from Porsche's 956 and 962 race cars. It produced 450 horsepower and propelled the car to a top speed of 197 miles per hour. These were astonishing figures for the time, but it was the car's technological sophistication that truly set it apart. The 959 featured an advanced all-wheel drive system known as Porsche Steuerkupplung, PSK, capable of adjusting torque distribution between front and rear axles in real time. This system gave the 959 incredible traction and control, even under extreme conditions. Combined with computer-controlled suspension, tire pressure monitoring, and lightweight composite materials, the car was decades ahead of its competitors. Porsche produced only 292 units of the 959, each assembled with extraordinary precision. Despite its high cost and complex engineering, the car was a commercial and technological success. It demonstrated what was possible when innovation was prioritized over profit. Even today, the 959 remains a benchmark for how modern supercars balance performance, comfort, and reliability. It is, without question, one of the most influential cars of the 1980s, and a shining example of Porsche's relentless pursuit of perfection. Lamborghini Countach LP5000 QV, 1985–1988. If there was ever a car that defined the image of the 1980s supercar, it was the Lamborghini Countach. Its name alone evokes memories of posters on bedroom walls, symbolizing excess, ambition, and sheer audacity. Among its various iterations, the LP5000 Quattrovalvole, or QV, stands out as the rarest and most refined version produced during that decade. The Countach LP5000 QV debuted in 1985 as a major upgrade to Lamborghini's iconic wedge-shaped machine. Its 5.2-liter V12 engine featured 4 valves per cylinder, producing 455 horsepower, making it the most powerful Countach ever built at that time. With a top speed approaching 185 miles per hour, it was a pure celebration of raw mechanical power. Despite its iconic design, the QV was notoriously difficult to drive. Visibility was poor, the clutch was heavy, and the cabin was cramped. Yet these very flaws became part of its charm. Driving a Countach wasn't about comfort. It was about taming a mechanical beast. The car's aggressive angles, massive rear wing, and scissor doors made it instantly recognizable. Production numbers for the LP5000 QV were extremely low, with approximately 610 units built, making it far rarer than many of its contemporary rivals. Each one was handcrafted in Sant'Agata Bolognese, Italy, reflecting the artisanal nature of Lamborghini's operations in that era. Beyond its statistics, the Countach LP5000 QV remains one of the most enduring cultural icons of the 1980s. It represented the boldness of design and engineering that defined the decade, a time when creativity triumphed over convention. Even decades later, few cars capture attention with the same visceral intensity as the Countach. BMW M1, 1978-1981. Though its production began slightly before the 1980s, the BMW M1 rightfully earns its place among the rarest and most significant supercars of that era. Conceived as a homologation special for Group 4 and Group 5 racing, the M1 was a product of collaboration between Germany's BMW and Italy's finest designers and engineers. The car was developed under the supervision of BMW Motorsport founder Jochen Nierpasch, who envisioned a mid-engine sports car capable of competing against the likes of Porsche and Ferrari. To achieve this, BMW partnered with Lamborghini for chassis development, and later with Italdesign's Giorgetto Giugiaro for the striking bodywork. The result was a timeless design, featuring clean, purposeful lines and a distinct wedge profile that perfectly captured late 70s and early 80s aesthetics. Power came from a 3.5-liter inline-six engine, producing 273 horsepower in road-going form and up to 470 horsepower in racing trim. The M1 could reach 162 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest cars of its time. But what truly made it extraordinary was its balance and handling. The M1's mid-engine layout, combined with its lightweight tubular frame, gave it superb agility and precision on the road or track. Only 453 units of the BMW M1 were ever produced, and each one was hand-assembled. It remains the only BMW ever built with a mid-engine configuration for both road and race use. The car also marked the birth of the now famous BMW M division, which would go on to create some of the world's most celebrated performance cars. Today, the M1 is revered not only for its rarity, but also for its engineering significance. It stands as a bridge between motorsport innovation and road-going usability, a car that defined BMW's identity in performance engineering for decades to come. Jaguar XJ220. Prototype 1988-1992. Long before it reached production in the early 1990s, the Jaguar XJ220 existed as a concept that stunned the automotive world in 1988. The prototype version, developed during the late 1980s, was a bold declaration of Jaguar's intention to return to the forefront of high-performance engineering. The car's name, XJ220, referred to its projected top speed of 220 miles per hour, a figure that captured global attention. The original prototype was powered by a 6.2-liter V12 engine, paired with an advanced all-wheel drive system, a combination that was unprecedented for Jaguar at the time. Its body, designed with fluid aerodynamic lines and crafted from lightweight materials, reflected both elegance and aggression. Unlike most concept cars, the XJ220 prototype was fully functional, and its performance during demonstrations proved that Jaguar was serious about challenging Ferrari, Porsche, and Lamborghini. When the car eventually entered production a few years later, it was significantly altered, featuring a twin-turbocharged V6 instead of the V12, and rear-wheel drive instead of the original all-wheel layout. This made the early prototype far rarer and more coveted among collectors. Only a handful of these original V12 prototypes were ever constructed, and their value lies not only in their scarcity, but also in their historical significance as the genesis of one of the fastest cars of its era, the XJ220. Prototype symbolized Jaguar's ambition during the late 1980s, a company striving to blend traditional British craftsmanship with forward-thinking technology. It represented a bridge between the analog world of classic performance and the digital precision that would define the 1990s. In the pantheon of supercar evolution, the XJ220 prototype stands as a rare and fascinating chapter, embodying both unrealized potential and enduring beauty. Cizeta Moroder 516T, 1988-1991. Few cars in history encapsulate the eccentric energy of the late 1980s, quite like the Cizeta Moroder 516T. Conceived by former Lamborghini engineer Claudio Zampoli and music producer Giorgio Moroder, the V16T was a daring attempt to outshine the supercar establishment. Built in Modena, Italy, the heartland of automotive passion, this machine combined extreme engineering with unapologetic style. At its core was a 6.0-liter V16 engine, essentially two V8s joined together, producing 540 horsepower. Power was delivered through a transversely mounted layout, hence the T in its name, a complex and unconventional configuration that gave the car its distinctive proportions. With a top speed exceeding 200 miles per hour, the V16T was one of the most powerful cars of its era. The design, penned by Marcello Gandini, the same genius behind the Lamborghini Countach and Miura, was unmistakably dramatic. Sharp lines, pop-up headlights, and a low, wide stance gave the Cizeta an almost futuristic presence. Yet despite its looks and performance, the car's production was extremely limited. Only 9 units were ever built before the company succumbed to financial difficulties. The Cizeta Moroder V16T was more than a supercar. It was a symbol of unrestrained creativity. It represented what could happen when passion, artistry, and engineering collided without compromise. Even today, each surviving V16T is considered a piece of automotive sculpture, a reminder of an era when individual visionaries could still challenge the giants of the industry. Ferrari F40, 1987-1992. The Ferrari F40 is perhaps the most celebrated supercar of the 1980s, and arguably one of the most important in automotive history. Built to commemorate Ferrari's 40th anniversary, it was the last car personally approved by Enzo Ferrari before his passing, giving it an almost mythical status. At its heart lay a 2.9-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine, producing 478 horsepower. This setup allowed the F40 to reach a top speed of 201 miles per hour, making it the first production car to officially break the 200 mm barrier. Unlike many of its contemporaries, the F40 was not designed for comfort or convenience. It was an uncompromising machine built purely for performance. The body was crafted from advanced composite materials, including Kevlar, carbon fiber, and aluminum, to minimize weight. Every panel and aerodynamic surface served a purpose. The interior was stripped of all luxuries, no carpets, no radio, and minimal insulation, to keep the focus entirely on speed. The result was a raw, visceral driving experience that connected man and machine in the purest sense. Ferrari produced 1,315 units, a relatively higher number compared to others on this list. Yet the F40 remains one of the rarest in terms of significance and impact. Each car was built by hand at Maranello, reflecting the craftsmanship and precision that defined Ferrari's golden era. Beyond its technical brilliance, the F40 became a symbol of the 1980s, a period of bold ambition, extravagant wealth, and rapid technological progress. It was the ultimate expression of Enzo Ferrari's philosophy: to build the fastest, most thrilling car possible, regardless of cost. Even today, the F40 remains a benchmark for purity in supercar design. Revered by enthusiasts as one of the greatest automobiles ever created, Vector W8, 1989-1993. At the very top of this list stands one of the most extraordinary and ambitious creations of the 1980s, the Vector W8. An American supercar that dared to challenge European dominance, the W8 was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Conceived and built by Vector Aeromotive Corporation under the vision of Gerald Weigert, the car represented a bold statement of American engineering ambition during an era when Italy, Germany, and Britain ruled the high-performance landscape. The Vector W8 made its debut in 1989 after nearly a decade of development. It was powered by a 6.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine producing 625 horsepower, with peak output reportedly exceeding 1,000 horsepower in certain test configurations. Mated to a 3-speed automatic transmission sourced from General Motors, but heavily re-engineered, the W8 could achieve a top speed of 242 miles per hour, according to factory data. Even if that figure was optimistic, the car's performance was undeniably staggering for its time. Its design was equally striking. The wedge-shaped, aircraft-inspired body was constructed from carbon fiber and Kevlar composites, materials rarely used in production cars at the time. The cockpit featured an instrument panel derived from aviation design, complete with digital readouts and aerospace-grade switches. Every element reflected Weigert's belief that a supercar should feel as advanced as a fighter jet. Production was extremely limited. Only 19 examples were ever built between 1989 and 1993, making it one of the rarest supercars not only of the decade, but of all time. Each car was custom-built by hand in California, and due to the complexity of its engineering and high production cost, profitability was never achieved. Yet the Vector W8 remains a symbol of innovation, daring, and American ingenuity, a car that aimed to rival the European elite on their own terms. The W8's legacy is not merely about speed or rarity, but about vision. It embodied the 1980s spirit of technological optimism, a belief that anything was possible if one was bold enough to try. In an industry dominated by heritage brands, the Vector proved that even a newcomer could dream big and create something unforgettable. The 1980s were a golden age of supercars, when speed met artistry and machines became symbols of ambition and innovation. From legends like the Ferrari F40 and Porsche 959 to rarities like the Isdera Imperator and Cizeta Y16T, these cars defined an era of bold design and fearless engineering. Handcrafted and unapologetically ambitious, they remain timeless icons of a bygone age when passion, not technology, ruled the road.